5 things that modern women don't want men to know. We're going to talk about it.
I was just patient, never try skating. Fuck niggas hating.
Before I get today's video started, I want to be clear that I am talking about modern women. You know, the ones who are out here using men for sexual, financial, and attention, admiration, validation, you know, trying to fill those voids that she has on the inside of her. I'm not referring to good women, spiritually grounded women, morally grounded women. No. So just want to get that out there before some woman dislikes, which I don't care if you like it or not, because I don't get paid for likes or dislikes. So, and YouTube doesn't even show dislikes. So I can see them, but I don't even look at that. So my point is that that's irrelevant if you like it or not. So I'm not trying to make content that you like. Okay. So let's jump right into it. 5 things that modern women secretly do not want men to know. Number 1, they don't want you to know your own worth. If you know your worth, this makes it extremely difficult for her to extract the things that she needs from you in a manipulative way. It makes you're hard to manipulate, okay? Some women might call you sassy, but I did recently ask a woman, what is a sassy man? And the definition she gave me wasn't what I thought it was. I don't know if I would be considered a sassy man or not. I don't know what the stipulations or qualifications are to be a sassy man yet, but I am learning, okay? And I'll just do a video. Once I figure that out, I'll just do a video on sassy men. But my point is, a man who cannot easily be manipulated, therefore he is not low value. And I'm not talking about low value versus high value, like because men are saying that you have to make between $8,000 and $10,000 a month to be considered high value. I'm not talking about money. When I think of a high value man, I think of a man who has self-esteem, a man who is self-sustainable, a man who is goal-oriented, a man who is spiritually inclined and spiritually grounded, a man who is protected by God, a man who is on this purpose. How much money you make right now does not mean that you are or are not a high value man, because even these men who eventually make $10,000 a month, they had to start off making way less. So they were already a high value man. They just had to manifest the financial part of things. So we're not going to call men who don't make this amount of money low value men. Low value would imply to his purpose or his drive and ambition on where he's going in life. And even that high value man, once he supersedes $10,000 a month, does he just become a higher value man? We're not going to get into that because that's not something that I subscribe to anyway. And if you subscribe, you can just go watch another video on YouTube that describes high value men to your likings. Okay, so a modern woman definitely doesn't want you to know your worth, because then she doesn't have the ability. You're useless to her. She can't manipulate you. You're not a trick. You're not somebody that she can easily extract her needs from using her manipulation tactics. Number 2 thing that modern women do not want men to know is that they fear rejection. Absolutely. You know, they were able to hide this because in society, you know, the standard is the man must pursue the woman. Understandable, and I'm okay with that because I do believe in masculinity and femininity being 2 different things and one being more dominant than the other. But women fear rejection just as much as men, and they wouldn't want you to know this. But they don't have to really show it because of the dynamic. Men being required to pursue women. But there has been numerous cases in my own life where I was talking to a woman who admitted that multiple times that they fear rejection. Okay? They don't want you to know this. Number 3, They don't want you to know that the biggest blow to their ego is when they secretly find a man attractive, or when they secretly like a man upon, first seeing him, and he's not a trick. He's not willing to trick on her. That's a tiny little blow to the ego, because she wants someone that she likes to be willing to trick on her. Most of the time, she's going to get the guy she doesn't like who's willing to trick on her. But it's a blow to her ego when a man that she secretly likes is not willing to trick on her. Okay, so they don't want you to know that. That's another part of them fearing rejection. They don't want to approach the guy that they like and get rejected because they know their behavior will not be accepted. Number 4, they don't want you to know that her being nice to you doesn't mean that she likes you, and it damn sure doesn't mean that she respects you. She just knows that this is what you want, and this is the way that she needs to talk to you in order to get the things that she needs from you extracted. Imagine this for a second, fellas. Women are addicted to attention, admiration, compliments, and validation. They are. That's why they post thirst traps on their social media. They watch those numbers go up. That's why they brag about having hundreds of unread messages in their DMs. It's something that they can pop open and look at. I mean, how else would you know you have hundreds of unread messages unless you check those messages or opened up your inbox where the messages are stored without checking them? Why would anybody do that? Because just seeing hundreds of unread messages makes you feel more validated and admired. That's why. Seeing your pictures gain thousands of likes gives you validation. Now, imagine if men, or men in general, got that same amount of validation and attention. Imagine if the playing field was even in that area of validation. Women they want to starve men of the very validation that they thrive on. Like they need it, but they will starve a man of this very same validation. Isn't that crazy? How can a woman who is addicted to validation not want to give you any compliments or admiration yourself? The hypocrisy. So her being nice to you and respecting you her being nice to you doesn't mean that she likes you or respects you. Number 5, she has low self-esteem. Absolutely. That's why she'd avoid any man who sheds a light or shines a light on her immorality and insufficient self-sustainability. Men who come around who point out where she's inadequate, even if he's not doing the poking the finger and pointing the finger thing, but he's all the way on top of his stuff. She doesn't want to hear you talk. She doesn't want to hear your opinion. She wants to flee from you. Everything you say is things that she'd like to avoid. She doesn't self-reflect. So when you start saying things that's poking at her true identity, she is ready to run. She has low self-esteem. She knows that who she is and who it's not who she could be if she applied herself. So she justifies her behavior by monetary gain. Be like, girl, I made $13,000 last month. I ain't worried about what nobody got to say about me. That is a lie she tells herself. On the inside, in all actuality, she knows what she's doing is wrong. And she's not willing to self-reflect long enough to make a change. Now, I said I have 5, but I got a bonus one here for you. I had to sneak one in. This is one thing that I know for a fact modern women do not want men to know. If all men stop tricking, stop being so thirsty over her looks, stop being so willing to take her on trips just because she's cute. If all men, if 100 out of 100 men stop that, or at least understood what it's doing and use his brain and pulled back and withheld this, ooh, she'd be forced to prove that she's worthy of men's attention beyond her looks. She'd have to do the internal work. She'd have to work on her character, because the playing field would be different if men did not value women for their looks the way that we do. And we, to the point where we are willing to take them shopping, pay their bills for no reason, tricking on them, becoming sugar daddies and all that, and sponsors, catering to a woman, giving her the princess treatment. If all men stopped that at the same time, if men came together and said, no more tricking, boycotted tricks, then women will be forced, all women will be forced to self-reflect and do the internal work and work on her character and become a better person in order to be deemed worthy of a man's attention. Now, why are these men tricking? There's work to be done on them. These men they feel like, hey, it's easy for me if I just give her some money and then she gives me what I want. I don't have to waste my time going on dates. So there's something off in him. Although it makes sense to, if you're going to spend $500 on taking her on a couple of dates and she's only charging $300, you just save some money. Economically, that makes sense. But spiritually, that's immoral. So this man is driven by sex. This man is hyper-focused on sex. His mind isn't thinking about anything of value. His mind is thinking, how can I extract sex from this woman? Therefore, he is willing to go low vibrational in order to gain sex from this woman. He doesn't care to get to know this woman on an intellectual, spiritual, any emotional, any kind of level other than sexual, physical. And as a result of this man being driven and so hyper-focused on sex, he is willing to be a sponsor, a sugar daddy, a trick. And because women know this, slide him over to the side. Women say, all I got to do is focus on my looks. All I got to do is make sure I look good every time, from head to toe, every time I walk out the house. And then I can extract, because a woman is, if a woman is giving you sex, she's getting sex too. And I live by the code, fair exchange ain't no robbery. But that's not how modern women look at it, because fair exchange is you giving her sex, she gets sex in return. But she gives you sex, you get sex in return, or she gets sex in return, plus she gets your money. Plus she gets a trip. Plus she gets dinner dates. So she's getting way more than you're putting out. If all men live by that moral code of no tricking, and it is tricking if you got it, because it's still tricking. If all men stop that, all women will be forced to retreat from their modern women ways. Either go get a job, go sit up in the church, self-reflect, spend some time by herself, make necessary changes for the betterment of her character and her future to avoid the inevitable, which is her growing old and being alone, because she done maximized. She's trying to retire off of looking good. She is trying to retire off of, what do I mean by a woman that's trying to retire off of looking good? She is looking for the ultimate come up, which is that rich guy who will retire her, because once she marries a rich guy, jackpot. Because if that man wants a divorce, if she wants a divorce, she's taking half of his estate. Jackpot. And all she had to do to obtain this man was be sexy. If you like this video, please give me a like, comment, subscribe. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jerome, and this has been another episode of The Superb Word. I hope you have a wonderful day out there and be safe. Until next time, two fingers, y'all.